Big headline today. The U.S. House of Representatives has passed 3 major immigration-related bills, and a lot of people are already asking the same question. Does this change anything for me right now? Especially if I live in Texas, or I have a pending USCIS case. By the end of this video, you will know 3 things clearly. 1. What it actually means when the House passes a bill, and why that is not the same as a new law. 2. Who could be most affected if these bills move forward, and who is probably not affected immediately. And 3. A practical plan to protect yourself from rumors, avoid mistakes, and track what happens next in the Senate. Here is the part most people miss. A House vote can feel like an instant win or instant danger, but for most immigration situations, the real-world impact depends on what happens next, how the Senate responds, and whether any final law changes USCIS rules or enforcement priorities. So let us slow down, keep it factual, and focus on what you can do today. First, what changed? Based on the brief we have, the claim is that the House has officially passed 3 major immigration reform bills. The key word is passed in the House. In the U.S. system, passing the House is one step in a longer process. For a bill to become federal law, it generally must pass the House and the Senate in the same form, and then be signed by the President, or passed over a veto. So a House vote can be significant politically, and it can shape the conversation, but it does not automatically rewrite USCIS policies. It does not automatically change visa categories, and it does not automatically change your immigration status the next day. This is where people get confused, and sometimes scammers take advantage. A headline can make it sound like something is already in effect, but in most cases, until there is a final enacted law, your current eligibility rules, filing procedures, and pending cases remain under the existing rules. Now, because your brief does not list the names of the 3 bills or their exact provisions, we need to be careful. We can talk about what House-passed immigration bills usually focus on and how they could affect people, but we cannot responsibly claim specific new requirements, benefits, bans, or deadlines without the actual bill text or official summaries. So in this video, I am going to do 2 things. Explain the process and likely impact areas, and show you how to verify the specific contents yourself using official sources, so you can match the facts to your situation. Quick definition, because this matters. A bill is a proposal. It is not yet a rule. A law is what you get after the full process. Agency rules are how agencies like DHS and USCIS implement law, and that can involve guidance, forms, policy manuals, and operational instructions. Enforcement priorities are how agencies like ICE and CBP focus their resources, and those can shift based on leadership, funding, court rulings, and internal directives. A House vote is one event in that larger ecosystem. Here is a micro hook. 2 groups tend to be at the highest risk during moments like this, even when nothing has changed yet. Group 1 is people with a complicated or fragile immigration situation, who make a rushed decision because they think the law changed overnight. Group 2 is people who get targeted by misinformation or fraud promising a shortcut. Our goal is to keep you out of both categories. So who is affected versus who is not, as of right now? Let us separate this into immediate effects and potential future effects. Immediate effects, meaning today and this week. If the only confirmed fact is that the House passed bills and there is no enacted law yet, most people are not immediately affected in a legal sense. Your pending I-130, I-485, I-765, N-400, asylum case, or consular process does not automatically get re-decided because the House voted on something. Your biometrics appointment does not vanish. Your scheduled interview does not automatically change. That said, there can be indirect effects even before any law changes. For example, news can create demand surges. People may rush to file, consult attorneys, request records, or ask employers for sponsorship. That can increase backlogs in the short term. It can also change the messaging from state and local officials, especially in places like Texas, where immigration enforcement debates are intense. But indirect effects are not the same as new legal requirements. Potential future effects depend on what is inside these bills and whether the Senate takes them up. Since the brief mentions implications for undocumented immigrants, border policies, and immigration enforcement, the likely buckets are changes to enforcement authority or funding, changes to asylum processing or eligibility standards, changes to border operations and procedures, and changes to penalties or compliance requirements for certain violations. Those are common themes in House immigration packages, but again, we are not asserting specifics without the text. Now let us talk about the groups mentioned in your brief and the edge cases that people in Texas ask about all the time. Undocumented immigrants. If the bills are enforcement-focused, the potential impact might be more resources for enforcement, more mandatory procedures, or stricter standards in certain processes. If the bills are legalization-focused, the potential impact might be new pathways or protections. The brief frames this as a big win and reform, but reform can mean very different things depending on who is describing it. So if you are undocumented, the safe approach today is not to assume it is automatically good or automatically bad. The safe approach is to keep your documentation organized, avoid criminal exposure, and verify whether any final enacted change actually applies to you. Asylum seekers. If a bill touches asylum, the impact could be on who qualifies, how quickly a case is processed, what happens at the border, or what standards apply. But until enacted, your current filing deadlines and procedures are the ones that matter. If you have a filing deadline now, treat it as real. Do not delay because you are waiting for a possible new rule. Mixed status families. This is where stress runs high. One person is a U.S. citizen, another is a permanent resident, a spouse has a pending adjustment, a parent is undocumented. House activity can create fear. The reality is, unless and until a new law changes eligibility or enforcement, the best thing families can do is keep following existing processes carefully and keep copies of everything. Workers and students. People on F1, H1B, TPS, DACA, and other categories often worry about travel and renewal timing. The biggest risk is not the House vote itself, it is making travel plans based on rumors. If you are considering international travel, your decision should be based on your current status, your documents, and your risk tolerance, and ideally, a qualified review of your case. Here is a myth versus reality moment. Myth. The House passed bills, so USCIS rules changed immediately, and my case will be denied or approved faster. Reality. USCIS generally follows current law and current agency policy until a new law is enacted or official guidance changes. A vote in one chamber does not automatically update the USCIS policy manual or the form's instructions. Now, let us focus on Texas, because your brief highlights Texas immigration enforcement. Here is the key. Immigration is primarily federal. CBP, ICE, and USCIS are federal agencies. Texas can pass state-level measures that interact with immigration enforcement, and Texas can cooperate with federal enforcement in certain ways, but Texas cannot on its own redefine federal immigration status categories. So when you hear Texas immigration news, you want to ask, is this a state law issue, a federal law issue, a federal agency operations issue, or a court issue? Because those move on different tracks. What the House does is federal legislation. Texas officials may respond politically or operationally, but the immediate legal change depends on the full federal law process. Another micro-hook. There is one small detail that changes everything, and that detail is the Senate. If the Senate does not take up these bills or does not pass the same version, nothing becomes law. If the Senate passes a different version, there is usually a negotiation process to reconcile the differences. And even after a law passes, agencies often need time to implement. Some parts could be effective immediately, others later, depending on the final text. Now, why is this happening? Immigration bills tend to move when a few forces line up. Public pressure, border and asylum system strain, election year politics, budget negotiations, and operational crises like backlogs. Even without speculating about motives, We can say that immigration policy often becomes a fast-moving story because it touches border operations, humanitarian issues, employment, and state-federal relationships. Another factor is media incentives. Big headlines drive clicks, and that can cause the public to think the policy changed overnight, even when it is still in Congress. So your job as a viewer is to separate the signal from the noise. Here is what you should watch for as true indicators of change. The Senate schedules hearings or votes. The final bill text is posted. The President signals support or opposition. DHS, USCIS, CBP, or ICE publishes official implementation guidance. And credible legal organizations summarize the law after enactment. If none of those happen yet, treat the situation as developing, not final. Let us get practical with real-world consequences that can happen even in the uncertainty phase. First, travel decisions. If you are not a U.S. citizen, international travel always has some level of risk. During high news periods, people worry that rules will tighten suddenly. The reality is that CBP inspections at ports of entry are case-by-case and document-based, but policy emphasis can change. The safe move is to travel only if your documents are valid and your plan is necessary, and to avoid travel if your case is pending and you are not sure about advance parole or re-entry requirements. Second, work authorization and renewals. People sometimes panic file or panic quit jobs. Do not do irreversible things because of a headline. If you have an EAD renewal window under your current category, use the current official guidance. Third, family decisions. Some families consider moving states or changing living arrangements based on rumors. Until there is an actual legal change, focus on preparedness rather than panic. Fourth, scams. This is huge. Anytime you hear big immigration win or braking reform, scammers will message people with promises like, "We can get you on a new program, pay today," or "The law changed, you must pay to secure your place." If there is a real new benefit program, USCIS and DHS will announce it on official channels, and you will see widespread coverage from reputable sources, not just a random account in your DMs. Another myth versus reality. Myth: if a new bill is passed in the House, you should rush to file something immediately to lock in benefits. Reality: you can only file what is currently allowed. Filing the wrong form with the wrong basis can waste money and create confusion in your record. Now, example scenario number 1, clearly hypothetical. Example scenario: Maria lives in Houston. Her U.S. citizen spouse filed an I-130 and she is preparing for adjustment of status. She sees a post saying 3 bills passed and enforcement is changing in Texas. She considers canceling her upcoming USCIS appointment because she is scared. In this scenario, the best move is usually the opposite. Keep your appointment, keep your documents organized, and confirm any changes through USCIS official updates. Canceling can create delays or complications, while the House news by itself does not change her existing case requirements. Example scenario number 2. Example scenario: Daniel is an international student on F1 with OPT, and his EAD expires in a few months. He hears reform is coming and thinks he should stop working or leave the country immediately. In reality, his steps should be based on his current OPT rules, employer compliance, and timely filing options that already exist for him. House activity might matter later, but it is not a reason to abandon a valid status today without verified changes. Now, what should you do now? I am going to give you a do this and avoid this checklist that is safe and practical. Do this. Track the bills using official sources. You can use congress.gov to search by keywords like immigration and filter by House-passed legislation. Then read the official summary and the latest actions. Do this. Watch for Senate action. If there is no Senate movement, treat claims of immediate change as misinformation. Do this. Keep your personal immigration file updated. That means copies of passports, visas, I-94 records, prior approvals, receipts, notices, EADs, and any court documents. Do this. If you have a pending USCIS case, Use your USCIS online account or the official case status tool to monitor your case. Do this. If you are worried about enforcement risk, make a family preparedness plan that is non-panicky. Emergency contacts, childcare pickups, document copies, and knowing who can access key accounts. Avoid this. Do not share your A number, receipt numbers, passport scans, or SSN with unverified people or social media accounts. Avoid this. Do not pay anyone claiming they can register you for a new program tied to these bills, unless you can verify it on an official government site. Avoid this. Do not skip court dates, USCIS appointments, or biometrics because you think a new law is coming. Missing dates can cause real harm under the current rules. Avoid this. Do not travel internationally based on rumors that something will be better or worse next week. Verify, then decide. Avoid this. Do not file random forms just to do something. If you are unsure, get a qualified review. Here is another micro hook. If you only do one thing after this video, do this. Write down the exact name of your immigration process today. For example, family petition, adjustment, asylum, student status, work visa, naturalization. Then track how, if at all, the proposed bills mention your category. If your category is not mentioned, the biggest impact may be indirect, not direct. Next, what could happen in the Senate? There are a few realistic paths. Path 1. The Senate takes up the bills and passes them as is. Then they go to the President. If signed, DHS and USCIS would likely issue guidance, and you would start seeing official updates. Path 2. The Senate changes them, passes different text, and then there is a reconciliation step. That takes time. Path 3. The Senate does not advance them, and they stall. In that case, the House passage still matters politically, but it does not become law. Path 4. Pieces of the bills get folded into other must-pass legislation, like budget packages. That is possible in Washington generally, but you should not assume it will happen unless you see credible reporting and official legislative text. What should you watch next, specifically? Watch for Senate committee hearings, a scheduled Senate vote, official press releases with bill numbers and titles, and legal analyses that cite the actual text. Also watch for agency guidance. If USCIS policy changes, USCIS typically updates its policy pages, alerts, or instructions. If CBP changes border procedures, CBP will usually communicate operational changes through official channels, though not always in a flashy way. Another myth versus reality moment. Myth. If the House passed 3 bills, immigration is now fixed or broken. Reality. Immigration policy changes are usually slow, contested, and implemented in layers. Even big laws can take months to roll out, and court challenges can reshape outcomes. So here is the calm recap. 1. The House passing bills is significant, but it is not the final step, and it usually does not change USCIS rules overnight. 2. The groups that should pay the closest attention are people whose situations connect to enforcement and asylum changes, and families in high enforcement areas. But even then, the practical move is verification, not panic. 3. Texas headlines can be intense, but federal law changes still depend on the full federal process. 4. Your safest action is to keep your case compliant under current rules, avoid scams, and track the bills through official sources. 5. The next real trigger to watch is Senate action, and then official implementation guidance if anything becomes law. If you want, tell me in the comments what category you are in, like family-based, student, work, asylum, or citizenship, and what state you are in, and I will tell you the safest way to track updates for that category without falling for rumors. And if you want calm, verified immigration explainers like this every week, subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss the next update.